All right, so this is going to be a reading for Leo. And for the Leo that I'm reading for today, I'm seeing that you are in the process of really balancing out your own energy. There's something that is kind of moving forward in your life. You could be really on a path of stability, building up relationships with other people that feel good. For many of you, like building up a home space that feels really good, really settling into your own physical energy. And so that could be that you moved into a new home and you're really getting settled. It could be that you moved to a new town and you're feeling really like involved in your community, or that could just be like a goal that you have, something that you're working towards. There's definitely an exchange of energies in the material world that feels really good, that is helping you balance out. It's about giving and receiving and really being very, very grounded. You could have a lot of earth energy around you or earth energy in your chart. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. That's not going to apply to all of you, but it's coming through in a very grounded, stable way. So that looks good. Um, I'm going to dive deeper into the tarot here, but before I do, I just want to say thank you so much for being here and for receiving this reading. If you'd like to lend your energy to my channel to help me manifest messages that align more with your energy, you can like and subscribe. And if you would like a personal reading, I do offer personal readings. You can email me down below in the description box for a personal reading. But let's get into it, Leo. So, the oracle cards today for you are very powerful. They're awareness, inner voice, and trust. And so, I feel like within this process of you getting in touch with your own energy and really grounding, it's also coming from a place of you being really aware of and in sync with how you feel, and also what your higher self is trying to tell you, what that voice inside you is telling you to kind of guide you through. And with trust here, that's one of my favorite cards in this oracle deck, and it shows this person kind of free falling into the sky, and the sky is blue and then it turns pink. And it's just like really a wonderful energy of you following your own intuition above all else and really trusting yourself above all else, even if it may not make sense to other people, or you're doing things that maybe seem kind of risky or kind of out there. It all kind of lines up in such a way that guides you forward on your path, in a way that feels really, really good. So if you're resonating with this, Leo, I'm really proud of you, and I think this is a really good path that you're on. And I really like to see, it's almost like, you're connecting deeper with yourself on the internal level, and then that manifests on the external level where things start to balance out around you because your energy is just in flow. So, really, really good positive energy. Now, in the recent past, I'm seeing that you may have felt like you were heading towards something very positive, and then it's like, oh, you realize, like, wait, maybe this isn't the correct place for me to be, or the right thing for me to be moving towards, or there could have been something that kind of made you second guess yourself. Let's take a look at kind of what happened with that. I want to see what that was. It could be something that kind of presented a struggle to you, and that would have made sense, because if it felt good and then it didn't feel good, that's going to kind of throw a wrench in your energy. And that could have either connected you back to your intuition or made you realize that you were out of touch with your intuition. Let's take a look. Wow, whatever this was, it was something that felt like very important to you, a beautiful opportunity, like this is everything that I've ever wanted. Almost to the point where at times it may have felt like too good to be true, or maybe if you look back on it, it could look too good to be true. But at the time, it just felt like the fulfillment of your desires. It could have felt like, if it was another person, like this person is everything I've ever wanted in a person. If it was a job, this job is everything I've wanted. But just like an experience of like, oh, this is great. And because of that, you were kind of just seamlessly moving forward with it. Like there was no doubt in your mind about it. It was just like, yeah, I have to move forward with this. Why wouldn't I? For a while, it was moving forward very positively. You may have felt like your intuition was even telling you, like, this is the way to move forward. And that could have been true. For a while, it could have spoken to your intuition. It could have felt really affirmed. You may have, like, received signs from the universe that, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to be doing or where I'm supposed to be at. So you're showing me a lot of confidence to move forward with this. And you're also showing me, like, yeah, I think that this is the way. Now, there may have been some things that you weren't seeing here. Let's take a look at that. Sorry if you can hear the construction in the background. Both houses, I live in a row house, and both houses immediately next to mine have been doing construction for literally months, maybe longer, like maybe like a year and a half. And at all hours of the day, I just hear this banging. And I didn't realize that you can hear it in the readings. But then I listened back to one of my readings, I think like a month or two ago. And I was like, oh my God, you can totally hear it. It could have felt like, yeah, something came through and it just brought everything to a halt. It was like, we're moving, it feels good. And then, oh my God, in the way this actually shows up, it really doesn't feel good. And it comes through as like everything slows down because something kind of happened here, and it looks very disappointing to you. It looks hurtful. It looks like all of a sudden, your emotional resonance with this sort of paused or came to a pause. It's almost like I'm hearing like a record scratch, and you're playing the music, it feels good, and all of a sudden there's a record scratch and everything stops, and there's like, this major disappointment. Whatever energy that was involved in this with you, it's like all of a sudden you were like, oh my God, like I don't know if that energy is actually going to be able to show up. Or I don't know if it's actually reliable or something like that. And you cared for it a lot, and possibly it cared a lot for you too, but then you're like, okay, where is that in the material world? Like what happened to it or something like that. Interesting. Let's look at the current energies. Currently, I see that you're feeling pretty blocked from your heart space or from connecting from a place of vulnerability and care. And that makes sense because it looks like you were pretty invested in something and you felt really good about something that ended up kind of going south. And so now I see you being a little bit cut off from connecting with it, whatever it is. You're kind of showing me I feel like I'm on my own. And I feel like that other energy that was involved in this is on their own, and we're just kind of by ourselves alone. And so you're showing me like a lot of connection, a lot of intention, a lot of supportive, happy energies, and then it all comes grinding to a halt, and then you're like, okay, I guess I'm going to stand on my own 2 feet. Ultimately, I see it connecting you back to yourself and you having to kind of trust yourself above all else with this. I see you saying, well, it made me feel this way and I can't ignore the way that I feel. And now I see you kind of questioning, was this really what I wanted? Was this really supportive of my energy? And if it was, why did it make me feel the way that it did? And I see you really prioritizing what it is that you need above anything else in a healthy way, in a way of like, hold on, like let me look at what's going to be most supportive of me and like really work towards that. I do see you putting up quite a bit of a blockage though to anything that doesn't support you or doesn't resonate with you, and it could be disconnecting you a little bit from your heart or from receiving care and love and support, because it's almost like you're receiving, you're giving, you're receiving, and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, and you kind of you you put up the drawbridge, or you like put this moat around your castle, and you set this boundary with everything around you. And there's actually quite a bit of love, I think, that's trying to reach you. And I think that ideally you want that love, right? But you become kind of blocked off because of this bait and switch that kind of happened in this situation. You're showing me that you're ready to give and you're ready to receive, and ideally you want love, but you're also kind of blocked off from it at the same time because from a sort of self-preserving place. Yeah, you're kind of showing me like I'm done connecting with anything that makes me feel that way. I would love to. I'd love to connect. I'd love to give and receive. Um, but I really need to be kind of careful about what I'm giving and receiving to, and I'm not going to give and receive to things that make me feel negative. And so it's not that you're pulling back completely or forever, but I see you kind of putting up this gate around you while you kind of observe from afar. It's really just you setting a boundary and saying, you know, I'll connect when I'm ready and when it feels right and when my intuition shows me that it's the right time. But for right now, I really need to reevaluate and take a look at what happened in this situation, because I got hurt. Ultimately, I do see you opening up your heart again, but this time you're going to open it up a little slower in smaller increments. The last time you're like, I'm just going to dive in. This feels so good. I feel like this is the right thing for me. And then it's not that you dove in too fast or anything. You were just going with the energies that felt right for you. But something told you like, hey, like maybe like consider this a little bit more, or like try to ground yourself a little bit more in what's going on around you before you just throw your energy into something. And I see that kind of being the lesson that you learn with this. I do see you kind of struggling to trust, and that could be why trust is here in your oracle cards, is because it's not that you made the wrong decision. You know, it's important that you do trust and that you do, you know, share yourself and connect with other people, and you can trust your inner voice. If your inner voice tells you that something feels good, you can go towards it. Just be aware of what is going on in the situation. Like, have your eyes open even as you go towards it. And I see you kind of struggling to trust yourself in the future because you're like, well, that didn't work out. So how can I don't want to just throw myself into anything again in case I get hurt. But there's going to be something that kind of asks you to open up your energy, and you're going to have to kind of examine, you know, why am I struggling to open up to this, and what is it about me that doesn't want to let something good in. You're showing me I'm really tired. I don't want to get hurt again. I'm really stressed out. You could be really stressed out about what's going to happen in this particular situation. This feeling of like, well, now that everything's shifted in this situation, like what is going to happen? Especially now that you're so guarded. Like the openness that you have to this is you're still a little bit open, but you're mostly not, and you're really struggling to trust the situation. You're struggling to trust yourself. You're struggling to trust the other energies that are involved in this, and you have kind of retreated back into your shell like a little turtle, like pulling its head back. And you can always stick your head back out at any time and scope out the situation, but you're very, very cautious. And for the most part, I see you being like, well, I just need to stay inside my shell where it's safe. And that's where it could get a little bit deceptive, because you can't stay in your shell forever. And really, if you're staying in your shell, you're kind of avoiding what's outside in the world. And there could be something in this situation that still needs to be kind of confronted. There could just be other things out there in the world that are calling on your energy. And so, Spirit's kind of advice here with these really powerful oracle cards is, keep moving forward, trust yourself, trust that you have what you need within you to carry you through this situation. And it may take a long time, and it may feel at times like things aren't moving forward, but it's going to be about how much you connect with yourself and trust the process. Spirit wants you to know that everything's going to be okay, that, things aren't going to be like this forever. You're not going to feel guarded forever. And also, with time, things in this situation aren't going to stay this way as well. I don't know if that means you're going to reconnect with it, but eventually you're going to reconnect to that feeling of groundedness, that feeling of connecting with your intuition. It could take some time for you to get there, but you're going to get there. And this is just kind of where you're at right now. I do see your energy opening up and you starting to give your energy, poke your head out of your shell, whether it's to this situation or with something else. I see you opening back up again. And so even if you don't feel like you can open up to this situation and you need to be closed off to it and look at it from afar in order to heal, that's okay. You are going to open up eventually because that's, who you are at your core. So that's what I have for you, Leo. I hope that this helps. I hope that it resonates, and I'll see you next time.